In this video, we're going to go over how to start customizing your new Showit site. Now let's dive in. We'll be starting on the home page. We're going to go to page. Now these are all of the canvases that make up the home page. Anytime you see the gray diagonal lines, that means it's a site canvas. So anytime we update that canvas, we will see those updates site-wide wherever that canvas is located. One of the first things we're going to do is update all of the menus so that they're all ready to go, working, linked, and ready. We'll start with navigation. This is a site canvas, so we can click here to edit, or even here. We're going to show both here. So we can edit the canvas background by clicking this kind of negative space. You could change it to any color you want. Right here. As far as the text, you can select any text here, and on the right hand side you'll see the customization options. So we can change the color here, we can change the font here. These are all going to be the brand fonts that we added in. You can change the size, line height, letter spacing, the actual letter case as well. Alignment, we wouldn't need columns. Overflow doesn't really pertain to this one. Inline links, so if we had a hover color here, and even a color here, we could add that. Text properties, that isn't relevant here. Size and position, so this is super helpful. Right here we have the width, X, height, and Y axis. So this is letting us know exactly where it is on the page, which can be super helpful. We also have these options underneath center to canvas. So this we can center, I'll do just the desktop version now, where we can center horizontally and vertically to the canvas. Here we have horizontal locking, so this will take it further to the left. Depending where it's positioned, this takes it even further. This one is helpful with photos as well, and specifically full width would make sense with photos. Click actions, this is where everything is linked. So specifically in your navigation menus, we want to make sure that everything is linked. So we're going to go to page and then home page. Same thing for about, we want to make sure that's connected, experience, blog, and contact. There are transitions available, so this would be kind of like when you see a delay where it comes in. You could add transitions on, and of course you're just going to preview and see if you like them. Hover, if you want to add a hover effect, you can click custom. It could hover a specific color. You could also have it change fonts when you hover as well, or also have it underlined when you hover. Effects, we have a drop shadow available, so you could also play around with this if you would like. And then corners, that would make sense for images as well, or shapes. All right, we'll go back to home. So the next one we're going to do is the footer canvas. This is another site canvas. So we're going to jump right in. Here we have a little bit of text for you to edit. It's so helpful to reiterate to your dream clients where you're located, who you serve, and if you specifically travel. So here you can come in and say, okay, everything else looks good, but I am from Colorado. We can add that in here. So whatever makes sense for you and your business, you can add in here. Again, we can come to text style, change color, change the actual font itself. Size we can change, Any of that can be changed here. If you start changing size and everything, just be sure to check mobile as well so you can make sure that it's not overlapping on anything. Next, we have your Instagram feed. So what's really cool is underneath the photos here, we have a social grid. So we can actually hide these just by clicking the little desktop and mobile icons, and then you'll see your Instagram feed here. On the right under social grid settings, it'll say connect your account, so you will connect yours, and then just decide which post that you would like to show. From there, you can come down here with auto space. It's so easy once your Instagram is connected because you'll see it right in here. And then you can literally like drag this, like maybe you want it to be way more of like kind of a centerpiece here. You could do that and it will auto adapt in here. You can also change the number of rows too. So you can just kind of get in here, customize it, make it your own. You can also add fallback images. So for that, you're just going to select your images, add them over here, and then click save. Once you have yours connected, then you'll be able to delete these 3 photos out completely. I don't know how this one got all the way up there. So whenever you select 2 elements, you're going to get this alignment feature, which is super nice. So I'm going to align to the bottom. And then I'm just going to move this all the way over. I'm going to select the 3 and distribute the space between, and then make sure it is centered to the canvas. All right, and I'll check mobile, make sure, perfect, they're all in the middle. Okay, so next we're going to go over this subscribe opt-in form. This one is made in Showit. So whenever you see these little like tabs, these are called canvas views. So the first one, we have first name. So here is where people will type their first name. Here you could change the color. You could change the actual font itself. Again, you could change sizing. Any of this info right here is what you would be able to change. Next, we'll go to text properties. Because this is a contact form, we want to have enable input selected. We want this to be required, and then in subject. So when somebody fills out this form, you'll receive an email notification from Showit with this info. So when we have in subject, when we reply, their name will be in the subject line. Then we have label, so that says name. Again, when you receive the email notification, it will say name and then their name. Next, we'll do best email. So for this one, same thing. We're going to go through, we could change color, font. If you do change color and font, be sure to double check mobile so that way you can make those updates there as well. If you make any updates, then after you're done making them, we'll go to text properties. Again, we have enable input required, and this time we have reply to. So when you receive that email notification and you click reply, it will reply to the email that they provided. Again, we have label, it will say email, and then it will have their email. Next, we have this little arrow icon. So how this works is when somebody clicks this, they're going to see view to. So here we just have a cute little thank you, which is what they're seeing. We could adjust that by going to text style, changing the color, or specifically changing the font, the size, any of that stuff here. And again, if we check mobile, we want to make sure we do the same thing there if it makes sense. When we go back to view 1 with the icon, if we go to click actions, this is where we link everything. We have the type of link is canvas. Specifically, we're staying on this canvas, but we want them to go to the next canvas view. And we also have submit contact form selected. That is how and when you will receive that. All right, we'll move on. Oh, before we move on, we can actually embed a contact form or an email form from if you use an email platform. So we, for example, use Flowdesk. It has made sending out emails so much easier and super enjoyable. So if you want to check out Flowdesk, be sure to use our code 7thMade for a discount. Otherwise, what you can do is literally within Flowdesk, we would create a form. And then after you're done creating the form, you're going to come into Showit and click Embed Code. You're going to notice it is up here. So we need to move that down. But I'm using the arrows on my keyboard to pull that down. I'm going to bring this all the way down here. And same thing over here. So I'm trying to get that. If you couldn't get that with the arrows, you can also use size and position to change the height. And same thing, I'm going to move this over where the other form was. And once you have your form pasted in here, so we'll double click, this is where you're going to paste the code from Flowdesk or any other email platform. You'll click save. You'll see your form appear in here. And then you'll most likely have to go back to the home page, click preview, so you can actually scroll down and see where your form is. So right now we didn't post the actual code, so you're seeing this undefined, and it's just showing the Showit code, or excuse me, Showit form. So if I go all the way back down, edit site canvas, once you actually have your form in there, again, you might have to just tweak the actual sizing a little bit. You can then delete out these canvas views because you'll no longer need them. And you'll do that here. All right, moving on. We're going to go to our buttons down here. So again, the things we can change, we can do color, we can do font, we can do size, we can do line height, any of the stuff you see here. Then we're always going to want to make sure with click actions that it is going to the actual home page, about, experience, blog, contact. Next, we'll go on to these little icons. So what's super cool is with site settings, underneath social, where you put your social links, when we go to actually link it, we're going to select the icon, we're going to go to click actions, social link, and we're going to select Instagram. So it's going to link to whatever URL that you put in the site settings. Next, we'll go to the next icon and repeat the process. Like after you add in all of those in site settings, you'll simply just select whatever social platform it is. If you don't use TikTok, but maybe use something else, you can go to the icon chooser and select a different icon, and then just go to click actions to update that. And you'll do the same thing. We also have a fun Spotify playlist. So with click actions, now this type is a URL, and then I simply added the URL to the playlist here. And then we have open in a new window. So if you ever add a link to another website that isn't yours, we always recommend to open in a new window. Here we have the arrow. This type of link is going to top of page. And then below we have all rights reserved, photos by From the Daisies. So this is linked to her Instagram. So if you do add in your business name here, just remove this link and you'll just go to none. And then we also have our link here. This takes us to our website. We appreciate it if you leave it, but you don't have to. All right, we'll go out of the footer canvas. Next, we're going to go to the secondary nav. So if we go to the About page, there is a secondary navigation. So here we have a logo, which is awesome. So you can come in here and type in your business name. If there, for example, is overflowing, all we have to do is extend this box a little bit. I'm going to go to size and position and then center. Here, we're always going to want to make sure click actions that your logo is going to the home page. If you don't need to use the text in here as a logo, you can upload your own logo. So for example, we would go to Media Library and then I will pull our logo. Add to site canvas. So you'll notice you'll see these blue little like dots. It is actually up here. So I just have to pull that down. I'm going to go to size and position, center to canvas. I'm going to click just the desktop version so I can pull this down. And I need to make that a little bit smaller. So I'm holding down Shift on my keyboard to keep the same proportion when I'm resizing. And then I'm going to turn off Georgie. And now I would have our logo in here. I'm going to go to Click Actions, go to Page, and then click Home. From there, we want to make sure, as always, that all of our pages are linked to the right page. From here, you can also change go to text style, we can change color. We can have a separate color on desktop than we have on mobile. So you have that option as well. If you're like, well, hey, I know you said blogging is super important, but I need to launch my site before I will have all the blogs ready. Totally fine. So what you can do is hide the word blog, select these, and you'll get this alignment. From here, we're going to distribute and then go over to desktop as well and do the same thing, and we can space it out like that. So that's an easy way if you're like, okay, I need it, not yet. And whenever you add it back in, you'll just click this over here to make it visible, and then most likely you'll just have to select all of them again and then distribute. All right, now that we have all of the menus updated, let's move on to the next canvas on the home page. So we'll go to Page, the header canvas. So this is where we have a really cool logo moment. We'll go to Desktop. So here we can add in your business name. You'll notice now this is like super big. So now we can edit by changing that here. And maybe we could bring this box a little bit wider. We could take just a little bit of finessing. I'm gonna bring this down. And then of course I would come up here to the preview and double check. So see what this is looking like. So now this could actually be way bigger. And that's why it's nice to do the preview so that you can see it and go back and forth of like what that looks like. This one, because it's on the homepage only, you don't have to have this one linked in click actions because it's only this big on the homepage. So that one you don't have to come in here and link. If you already have a logo, we're going to do the same process. So we would go to Media Library, find your logo, select it, and then add to page. Here it went in the canvas view, so I'm going to bring that out of the canvas view. I'm holding shift down on my keyboard to keep the same proportion. I'm going to center with both of these. Go to preview, or here. I'm going to go to Georgie. I'm going to turn off the desktop version. Go to preview. Yeah, you can't really see it. So I'm going to zoom out so I can see the whole thing. Holding down shift on the keyboard to resize. Centering. I'm going to try a little bit more. I want it just a little bit bigger so it's kind of hanging off. Too small. Better. And then I could even go a little bit bigger. So you get the idea. So you're going to kind of come in here, double check, kind of open up the preview, see if you like it. We could even make it honestly a little bit bigger, so it'd kind of be hanging off. I think that would be really cool. But if we also edit this on desktop, we do want to make sure we come over here to mobile. So I just hid the Georgie one, and now I'm resizing here. Let's see what this looks like. Too big. Shift just mobile. Cool. Love. So that is how you'd be able to add your logo in here right away. We'll go back to adding in Georgie and deleting this out. And specifically back to the home page. So now we're going to move on to swapping photos, which is so fun. So with the header canvas, we have these photos set up as canvas views. So anytime you see these little tabs, that means it's a canvas view. This gives us a little bit more creative freedom with the positioning of the image. So right now the image is full width, and we know that coming to size and position, we have horizontal locking and we have the full width selected. From here to swap out any photos, we can double click. We can go to image, and right here under position is where we could adjust that positioning. So if it is a portrait photo, the positioning you have is up and down, and if it was a landscape photo, the positioning will change left to right. So if we're like, ooh, yes, love that, let's check mobile. We can also change the positioning individually on each. So say we're like, cool, we'll go to the next one, and same process, and you'll come through, select an image, so we can tell we have to like clearly adjust that. Epic. And you'll repeat the same process. If you want more than 3 images, we can go right here and click duplicate. Here we can rename this so it says 4. This is just to help us stay organized. Click the graphic, double click, and select a new image. From there, you're going to do the same thing as far as changing the position and going back and forth like that. It's also helpful if you do change the position to come over here to preview and see what it actually looks like in preview so that it's not cut off or anything. Or it's at least cropped where you would like it. In this canvas, we also have it set. I'm going to select it again. We have view transitions. Right here, we have auto advanced view. So if you're wondering like, how is that changing? Or if you want to speed up the time, it is actually right here. and you can check mobile as well. If you want to adjust that timing at all, you can do that here. There's also different animations as far as the canvas, the way the canvas would come in and go out. So if you want to change any of those, you can play with that here and then just preview and make sure you like what's happening. Okay, let's go down. So if you come to this canvas and you're like, oh, I want to actually add a photo to this canvas, you totally can. So down here at the bottom, media library, this is where you could select it, add to page. You can literally move this anywhere you want. We could make it tiny. This could be much, much bigger. This is where the horizontal locking is helpful. So for example, if you do want it to like always go to the end of the page, we would go to size and position, horizontal locking. When the photo is at the end of the page and you have this on, it will go all the way over. If we selected this one, it will stretch the photo more, but I also like when this one is set to halfway, which would be 600. So I'm using this little measurement up here. This would allow our photo to be halfway, and then with the size and position selected, go all the way over to the edge of the page. Again, if we want it full width, I could drag this all the way over and then select full width. There's a few other fun things you can do with the images. So of course, if we have this here, we can then, in the intro canvas, we're going to grab the graphic and bring it all the way down so it's behind everything. An easy fix right here, we could go to effects and change the opacity so you could still read it. Something else that we could do under effects is change the corners. So we could have rounded corners on the image. We could also then change the amount that the corners are rounded. And all of these are linked, so it's going the same amount on each corner. You also have this option down below where we can have an arch. And kind of play with that. And then of course, like with that shape, you can change it. That's too big. Okay. But you get it. So like I could totally change what this looks like and then also change the actual corner of what that looks like too. And you can get some really cool shapes if you want to add in something kind of fun with your photos. If you want to add in a gallery, you totally can. So we could go down in the middle here, click gallery. Go to gallery images, manage images, select each image you want in your gallery. If you're like, oh, I like these, I want to reorder them, we can bring that up. If you're like, oh, I want to delete that, you can delete by selecting that trash can and click save. From here within a gallery, the positioning is kind of auto. So keep that in mind when you're selecting your photos. And then we'll go to gallery settings. From here, there are different types of galleries. We have tiled and sliding as well. For this location on the page, simple would work really well. We can go to the size, fill, or contain. So if we have fill, that's where you're getting the crop, but if you have contain, you can see the whole thing. Then we have auto advance, so you can select that, come through and either choose fade, slide, or none, and then transition time. So that's super helpful. Again, if we add a gallery to desktop, be sure to check mobile because it's going to be over here and we just don't want any of the text getting covered. So we can also bring that all the way under. But the same thing, like adding a photo, we could come to effects. We can play with that and do the same thing even within a gallery. So if we add in this photo again, you'll notice over on the left-hand side here, we have these icons, the desktop and mobile. So if we only wanted this photo visible on mobile, I can truly hide it on desktop, or vice versa. If we want it only visible on desktop, we can do that. You'll notice this little lock icon. If you want to keep an image or any element exactly where it is, we can lock it, and then you'd be able to edit and customize around it while keeping this in the same place. To unlock, you can click the little lock here or even up here. You'll notice the 3 dots here. You could rename the graphic. This does not help your SEO in this Canvas setting. It would help you to be organized if you prefer it that way. So you could label like what the photo is. You can also duplicate the photo. If you duplicate it on mobile, it will be duplicated on desktop as well. Here we can delete, and then again with the 3 dots, we could lock. And this process is going to be the same on every single page. So to swap photos, we would do the coming soon page if you plan on using it, about, experience, contact, links page. This is an Instagram bio page, so if you prefer to have some sort of links page, you're going to want to update this photo. The 404, we're going to want to update this photo. So if you're trying to get the photo, you notice there is a simple rectangle shape over it. So you're going to click graphic, go over to the right, click image, and then click image. This is where you can select your new image. The home page, you'll want to change the photos here. On the blog page, the photo you'll want to change is in the header site canvas. So we'll go to edit, and you'll change these 2 photos. In the WordPress blogging videos, we're going to go over specifically how the blogging works within Showit and WordPress. So beyond that, make sure you watch those videos first before you edit any of them, unless you already know that info, then you can. The category page, that will be updated because it's a site canvas. Single post page, again, hold off until you watch the other video there. And the blog 404. So here we can go to page 404 and click graphic because we have this box over. If you don't need the black opacity over, and the only reason I have it over these was so that you could read the text a little easier, you could simply turn it off or even delete it if you don't need it. Click graphic, click the photo, and select your photo. So those will be the photos and where we want to go change those throughout your entire site. One of our favorite questions is, can you add video to your website? And yes, absolutely. We're going to go over that. There's a couple different ways you can do that. So let's dive in and go through it. So we have this header canvas, and I'm going to duplicate this canvas so that we have the original. This is a fun design hack I like to do so that I can try out different things and see which one I like the best. So I'll just duplicate all of them and keep going. So for here, I'm going to delete these canvas views out. All right, we'll start with just the desktop. So say we want this to be a video background. We're going to go to our media library, and this is where we'd have to upload a video. Okay, I have this example video. Also, if you try uploading a video and the file size is too large, you're going to get a notification that will pop up saying it's too large. So either resave the file at a smaller size, or if you go to Google, you can try searching for different sites that will help reduce file size. All right, now that we have a video in here, we're going to go to Canvas background, and under media type, this is where we can select video. So we'll go to choose video. It will only show the video that's available in this folder. From here, we can choose a fallback image just in case. Duration, we want this to loop. Size, I want that to definitely fill. And then position. So you can go through here and choose position. You'll just kind of have to play with it and see which makes the most sense. I like middle center. Scroll with page. Yeah, that'll be fine. Opacity, so we could lower this and it'll show this color. But I actually really liked it full opacity. And then we're going to come up and preview. Cool. And then it's also going to be on mobile too. Epic. So that is one option, is by adding video as a canvas background. I'm going to bring back our original. Let's hide this one. So what's really cool is you can swap any photos you see on the page with a GIF. So let's do that. I'm going to select this one and let's add in a GIF. One way I create these is through Canva. So if you are at a session and you take some behind the scenes and you're like, ooh, I want to add that to the site, or maybe you have video, an easy way to do it is upload it into Canva and then download it as a GIF. You will have to play with sizing. If you have a really large file size, the quality is typically better. However, on your web page, it might load really slow. So try to kind of get like a happy medium with file size, or you can even use giphy.com, upload your videos, and then convert them into a GIF on that site as well. So you've got a couple different options. Once your GIF is loaded in here, you can just select it. Epic. From here, you can adjust the positioning as well. So if you do change that here, be sure to double check mobile and check it out here. We also have the opacity turned down a little here. So if we go to effects, you'll find that right here. And lastly, you can add a YouTube or Vimeo video. So for that, I'm going to go to the home page and I am going to add a blank canvas, which will be down to the bottom. I'm going to bring it all the way up for the example. Here we can adjust the canvas size. And down in the middle, we're going to add video. On the right-hand side, you can add Vimeo, so you'll add your Vimeo ID, and then these are the other options you can play with here. Or YouTube, you can add your YouTube ID, and then again, customize with these options here. Once your video is added in, you'll be able to see it really easy and come in here and resize it, and then you can put it wherever you want, change the canvas background, add in text, and go from there. So those are the 3 different options you have for adding video into your website. We are going to move on to customizing the text on your website. So with this, it's super fun because any text you see anywhere, you can literally you can move this wherever you want it. We could undo that. We could change the color. So anytime you have any element selected, you're going to see it highlighted in blue in the canvas, and it will have a blue bounding box on it within the canvas as well. From here, we can start typing. And I just brought in the zoom as well. From here, we can come in, type. You can use any text you see. So you can use any anything you see on this entire website. You can customize it, you can keep it, you can make it your own, you could totally add a new text altogether. From here, we can move this around like literally anywhere you want. You can start typing in here. On the right hand side, this is where you're going to have any of that editing. So you can change the color altogether. Like, ooh, that's kind of light, but what if we had like a darker blue? Click OK. Then we have the actual font here. So these are from the brand fonts we added. You could change size, anything like that. If you start typing and you're like, oh, I have more text, that's totally fine. You can bring down the call to action button, and then you could also extend this canvas altogether here. On any page, you can also add type right here. These are going to be set with the type styles that we set in the design settings. So we can add the title, change the color. If we add it to desktop, it's going to be on mobile as well. So then be sure to change that. Again, you can add the heading, subheading, paragraph font, all of that here. If you're like, oh, this is cool, we have this italicized, like how did we do that? We can select. Here we can bold and italicize here. There's also the strike through feature. You can link this way as well. It'll pull the same options. That would be an option. And literally you get to come in here and just play, customize it with any of the other text on the page. You can come through. What's really helpful here is it's all because of this bounding box. So just moving it kind of where we want is how we get that stack with all of the text. And move through the page. So you can come through, edit it, customize it. The same features are available in each canvas as well. So we could hide something on mobile, but have it visible on desktop. We can also lock an item. So if you're like, oh, I want to move things around, but I want this text to stay here, you can. With the 3 dots, you could rename. Again, this would be just to help you be organized. We can duplicate, and we could also delete right here, and also lock. When we have the text selected, we have all of these options you see on the right-hand side. So size and position is super helpful. We have this feature where we could center to canvas horizontally and vertically. If we're on the desktop version, this is where we could center here. We have horizontal locking. These don't really apply to this example, but there are other examples where it could. Right down here we have like this one as seen in, so we have the horizontal locking in place. But with text, it doesn't really make sense for the full width one. We also have the option with click action, so this is how we're linking everything. If you want to link both the line and the text, if you select both by dragging your mouse over it, you'll get click actions here, and you can click configure link. You'll bring up this option, which is page, and it is going to link to both for you. Otherwise, normally we would do it individually. If you feel like you're getting stuck on some of the copywriting, we will have our copywriting guide linked below to help you through it. Otherwise, you'll want to update the text on the homepage, coming soon page if you plan on using it, about page, experience page, contact, links, you'll specifically add your links in here, 404 if you want to change any of that. The blog page would be in this top section. We will literally go over the rest of the page in the next video. And then the words here on the blog 404 page. Next, we're going to dive into canvas backgrounds. So if we go to the page, we will see all the canvases that make up the home page. Here, I kind of click the negative space of a canvas if I'm trying to get the canvas background. So you'll see that pop up on the right-hand side. Here, we could change the color. We also, from the drop down, like we kind of went over, we have the option to do an image as the background. We can choose size, contain, don't scale. We can choose the positioning, the scroll option. So if we have parallax, that brings up that cool kind of movement where we're scrolling kind of above the image. And then we also have fixed. We have this option to lower the opacity of the image, increasing the color overlay here. We already went over video. If we go back to none, you could also do a color gradient. So we could start with this one and then with that, and then change the rotation here. And you can also play with the opacity here of the actual color itself. Another fun thing you can do with the actual canvases themselves, if, for example, you're like, ooh, I'm not going to use maybe this experience canvas, or you don't want to use it right now, or you're saving it, whatever it is, you can actually hide it. And that like fully changes like what the page even looks like. So that's an option where you can just hide the canvas altogether. You could also hide it just on desktop, or the reverse, hide it on mobile. Another fun thing you can do is reorder the canvases. So I could bring the experience down and bring the as seen in up. Again, that's just like that little switch changes it so easily. If you want to, you can add in a blank canvas. So I'm selecting the home page just by clicking this negative space. We get these three dots. We can add a blank canvas. So here it's always going to be added to the bottom, but then you could literally bring it up like wherever you want. The only thing with this top section, we have this galleries canvas, and then it opens up a small weddings canvas and couples canvas. So for that, all three of these, it's helpful to keep them in order if you plan on using them. When it comes to the blank canvas, you can come in here, make the canvas bigger. Down at the bottom, we could add any text. We can add any of these options in the middle, and then even add our images. If you also have, we can add a new canvas, any of our site canvases. We can add canvases from other pages within our own site. You'll see it'll be all the way down at the bottom. But I could bring that in, and then of course we would come in here and customize it and change the canvas background. We can swap photos, do all of that good stuff. And lastly, you can also add in a canvas from other sites. So let's see, we could add in, let's do one from the Anna Jean template. Let's say I want to add in this header because I want to bring in this little cluster. Apply my fonts. Let's add in, again, it'll be at the bottom. Awesome. And then I can reorganize these as well. I could bring this up and kind of go from there and truly just keep customizing. A fun way to add a little something to your site as well is adding in transitions. So on a couple of these, we have transitions. So if we select text, any element, this could be text, photos, whatever you have on your page, we can go to transitions. And the type of transition we have is a fade. You can go through here and select something else, select the direction, go to preview. That is where you're going to see that come through. And then you would just continue to tweak it until you get it just right. And that is where that is located. So again, you have full control over the desktop version and the mobile version as far as timing. Next, we're going to go over how to add shapes, lines, and icons to any canvas on your site. So we'll go right here in the middle. We can add a rectangle. So this is how we created this oval, was starting by adding a rectangle. We go to shape style. Here we can have just the border color, and then we'll turn this one off. Increase the border size by 1, but you could go as much as you want. Down here under effects, this is where we chose the oval and just resized it by holding shift down. That keeps the proportions. If we do that on desktop, we're going to have to edit that on mobile as well. So we'll come here, increase the size of the border, turn off the fill color, go to effects, select the circle. Here I'm freehanding the resizing, so I kind of keep that same shape, but it's pretty close. If I was like, oh, I want it to be exact, I can make this one smaller and then select both. I'm doing that by holding Command on the keyboard, going to alignment, and under match size, I can match size, height, and width. So now I have exactly that same size here. We also have different features by rounding at the corners. Here, we can also have the corners rounded, but then you also get all of these fun shapes that you can play with. And then again, this could be a decorative element. This could be functional as far as like guiding people through your site. We can go to the shape style. We could fill. We could rotate this again. Like, it's so fun because you can really come in here and customize it exactly how you would like. Next, we have lines. So if you're like, oh, I want to have a line instead of an oval, so we could hide that. We're going to bring this line up. I'm going to resize it here. Center to canvas. The thickness of the line, I'm going to reduce. The line style here, I could change the color. Size and position, centered. Click actions, if it's going to function around a button, that is when I would always add in click actions to make sure it's going to the right page. And then if we do that on desktop, we're going to come over here, customize this on mobile as well. Size and position, I want to center. Perfect. Or this could be something totally different and be more of a design element. And just kind of come through like that. If that's the case, I would turn off the click actions. Lastly, we're going to add icons. Oh, I'm going to turn on this oval again. All right, once we have an icon in here, we can go to icon settings. Here is where we can choose our color. Then we can choose the icon chooser. So this could be for social links. This could be some sort of email, picture, whatever you want. You can add that in. We got arrows, we got shapes. Now it'll choose the same icon, but you'll just have to update the color on mobile. And then the same process as far as linking. We can go here, select a page, choose whatever page that it would make sense with. And then we also can still use size and position if we want to get that centered. So you have a couple different options here as well. Moving on, we are going to go over a few canvases on the homepage and throughout the site to give you a little bit more on how they work and how to really customize them and dive in. On the homepage, we have the galleries canvas. So this one's super fun. This is a little taste of maybe two of your offerings. So we have small weddings and couples. These are going to be the things that you want to book more of. So right here with small weddings, when somebody clicks here, if we go to click actions, we are linking to a canvas, specifically the weddings gallery canvas. So right here, and the actions are saying it's going to show that canvas, specifically the weddings gallery canvas, and we're also going to hide a canvas, specifically the couples gallery canvas. That's if the couples gallery was already open. So the weddings gallery canvas, if we go to canvas here, it is hidden to start, and it's hidden on desktop and mobile. The same thing for the couples gallery. It is hidden to start, so that means nobody can see this unless they specifically click on either small weddings, here, the image to see weddings, or here to see the couples gallery, or here to see the couples gallery. So to swap out any of these photos, you can easily click, select your new photo. If this was maybe brands, we could change the text to brands, just like that. When we get to the small weddings gallery, if you do change it to brands, this could also then be brands here, and I would just hide, the weddings text. Here is a gallery, so we'll go to gallery images. To manage images, you're just going to simply click yours and add them over. It'll be added to the bottom, so if you want to rearrange, you'll just select, bring it to the top, click save. Here we'll go to gallery settings. So the type of gallery is a sliding gallery, and then the style is carousel. You have these other options, so you can play with it and kind of see which one you prefer. Here I have it set to loop images, the space between. You could turn on the auto advance. We have show dots here, and then our dot color. Yeah, I think this is okay. Our selected dot color here, size, space between. Any of this, we have dot location, we just have over images, but you could choose under. We also have a send inquiry, so we want to make sure this text, if we go to click actions, is going to the contact page. And then we have the little X icon here. So when somebody clicks this, we are specifically hiding canvas and specifically this canvas. Same thing down here with the couples canvas. So if we want to change this to weddings, we would just update the text here, come through, update your photos. So select, go to gallery images, manage, add in your new photos, rearrange them, delete the ones that don't make sense, click save. Gallery settings, it's going to be the same process here. So you can go through and make any of those updates here. Send inquiry, we want to make sure that is still linked properly here. And then the only thing that would change is if, for example, this was brands and you wanted to come here and change what this canvas is called, it will say brands gallery. So then when we go to look at our click actions, you'll notice that the actual canvas is not connected. So you'll have to come back here and make sure you select the actual canvas that you want it to be connected to. Otherwise, when people link, they won't see that. After updating the desktop version, be sure to double check mobile as always and make sure that is still looking how you want that to look as well. Next, we're going to move on to the Testimonials Canvas. So anytime you see these little tabs, that is called a canvas view in Showit. This is how it allows us to go through multiple testimonials. So how this is set up is in each canvas view, we have the testimonial, the couple's name, and then a photo. So to swap these, you're going to jump in, double click the photo, add in your new photo, add in your testimonial, and change the client's or couple's names here. And then you're just going to repeat that process through each canvas view. So you'll select the next view and same process. View 3, again, same process. If you want to change this background image, we have a black rectangle over so that this text pops a little bit. If you're wanting to get the graphic, you're going to select here, go to image, double click image, select your new image. Again, you can change positioning right here for desktop and mobile. If you don't need the black overlay, you could turn that off. Lastly, with the reviews, if you do want to add more, you totally can. With the last review selected, we can click the 3 dots and click duplicate. From here, I would rename it so it's in order. And then same process. So we'll update the text, update the names, and then swap out the photos. How this section works as well through the icons is that when people click, we're going to go to click actions. So we're saying the type of link is a canvas, and we want people to stay on this canvas. However, we want them to see the next canvas view. And then we also have loop canvas view selected so that the whole process is infinite and they could just keep clicking and keep going through. And then with the other icon, we have it set to previous canvas view, but again, looping canvas view, so it will be infinite. The next canvas we're going to go over is the featured blog canvas. So with this one, it is set up to communicate with WordPress. WordPress is going to be where you're writing all of your blogs. It's where you're setting your featured image. Showit is the design and the layout. So what you can do on this canvas is swap out the photos with your work. So double click, add in your photos. For the blog post title, you will be writing the title within WordPress, but the things you can edit here would be specifically under text style. We could change the color. We could change the actual font itself. And you could also change the size. If you make the size bigger, you're going to notice it gets cut off. We have the overflow of text set to crop, so if you do make it bigger, you're going to have to adjust this blue bounding box so that it will actually all fit. Next, we have this icon. If you like it, we can keep it. You could change the colors of it here. You could actually hide it if you're like, I don't need it. This is set to open up the WordPress post. So through click actions, it will open whatever WordPress post is set to go here. In our WordPress videos and blogging videos, we're going to go over in more detail how this works. We'll open up WordPress and go through it. If you want this photo to be bigger, it truly can. You can make it all the way a landscape image. You have that customization as well. The things that have to stay is all of these items are in this view 1. So we just want to make sure that they all stay in view 1 so that it communicates with WordPress. But otherwise, you can definitely edit the size of the image, the size of the text, this black rectangle background. If you don't want that, you could delete that or at least hide it. If you don't want this big word featured, that could go. And then we have the CTA here. So this is going to our blog page. And we're going to have the line go to our blog page as well. We are going to hop over to the About page. We have another fun facts or about experience, Canvas. So this is set up with Canvas views as well. It's going to be the same process. So you're going to come through. This could be more about you. It could be more about your business, more about your experience, whatever you prefer here. So we can change the text. Again, you could keep any of the text that you see here, tweak it a little bit, keep it all, customize it, whatever you like. You can do with that here. We have view 2 and then view 3. If by any means you need more views, you can add them here. Just simply duplicate. You can rename this so it's 4 just so that it all goes in order. And then jump in, edit the text. When you have an image selected, we can double click, pull the new image. And go on from there. When it comes to these icons, you'll notice the yellow behind it. And if you're like, how the heck do I get that yellow? It is underneath. So you'll have to click the simple underneath, go to shape style. And here is where you could change the color. Same thing with the other one. It is simple underneath the icon. And then these are linked just how they were on the homepage. So if we go to click actions, we're doing the same thing. We're looping Canvas views so that it is infinite, that people can always click through. The type of link is Canvas. We want to stay on this canvas and show the next Canvas view. Moving on, we're going to jump over to the experience page. This one has another FAQ section, and you guessed it, we have Canvas views again. Here we have the same process, so we have the icon. These are all linked the same exact way. If you're like, how the heck do I change that blue? It is right underneath. So you'll select simple on the right-hand side, click shape style, and here we can change the actual color. Same thing with the other arrow. Underneath, we'll click simple, and here we can change the color. Next, we'll go to view 1. So we have question 1. For these, you'll just come in here and type your questions that you get asked most frequently. And then simply just add in your answers. If you're noticing that all of your questions have longer answers, that's totally fine. You can actually just extend this canvas on desktop and on mobile so you have a little bit more space. From here, we'll go through and just answer or write all your questions and then write the answers. If maybe you only have 4 main questions, you can come in here and then just delete Canvas view 5 and Canvas view 6. If you realize you actually have more questions, that's totally fine. We can also duplicate and then rename and add 7. So then you can come in here, same process, come in here, write your question, add in your answer, and then you're good to go. One of our other favorite questions is literally, can I embed my own contact form from Honeybook, Dubsado, or maybe another third-party client management program? And you can. So we're going to go to your site and go to contact page. From here, we'll go to page, and I'm going to open up just the desktop version. Here we have header, contact form. So in this, we're just going to go over the contact form. With these Canvas views, this is how a contact form in Showit is created. You'll notice we have all of our questions here. This is exactly where people could answer. So when we have one selected, This is where we can edit it, is based off the color. So we could change color. We can change the actual font itself. We can change size, line height, letter spacing, the actual letter case, alignment, any of that good stuff here is what you can edit. If we go to text properties, that's where we're going to see it's a contact form. We want to enable input. It is required. And for a name, we want that in subject. And then our label is name. So whenever you use a Showit form, when somebody fills this out, you're going to receive an email notification from Showit, and you'll see this label, and then you'll see their answer. So this is really helpful for you to stay organized, know what they even answered to with these labels. Same thing for phone. You'll see that we have enable input required. The label is phone number. So on and so forth. You'll notice everything in the Canvas View 1 is set to go in order. If you're like, hey, I actually don't need, say, these last 3 questions, we can select them. You'll know exactly where they are. Here, we could hide them. I want to keep that. And then I'm going to bring this up. And let's bring this up too. We could then bring this whole canvas up. And if we do it on desktop, then you already know we're going to jump over to mobile and do the same thing. That way they are both showing the same stuff. Now, what if it is reverse? So maybe you're like, oh, I actually need to add in more to the contact form. That's also totally fine. So we can pull our button down. We can make the canvas longer. And for example, let's add it at the end. So what I'm going to do is select it, and then on my keyboard, I'm holding down Option to duplicate, and I'm dragging this down. If that's not the case, we can also select the text itself, and you'll see that here, and we could duplicate it, bring that down, grab a line, duplicate that, and I'm just going to make sure I have the same 2 here. I'm going to align to the left. I'm going to go all the way up, so it's going to align to the furthest thing to the left. Bring this line up, select both, and I'm holding down Shift on my keyboard to move it directly straight up, but still stay in the alignment. Now that we added one on desktop, you already know we're going to add this on mobile. So now I'm going to grab the last 2 within the canvas, use the arrows on my keyboard to pull these 2 items down. And then I'm going to center, align to canvas, and I'm going to click center. From here, you can type your question. And then we'll go to text style. So if you did update the color or font size, any of that here, you would update that. And then under text properties, we're going to go under contact form, enable input, select required. And then here, we would also type your question so that it makes sense, so that when somebody does fill this out, you know exactly what it is. If you want to reorder it within, you can. That's going to be the same process. So we could just select this, drag this one up, center, pull these ones down, grab these again, pull that one down. I'm going to center to canvas. And then we would do the same thing here. So I'm going to slide it up. And there we go. That's how you can easily add in more questions or remove questions to the Showit form. Now you might be wondering, well, what happens after somebody clicks submit? So if we go to submit, we're going to go to click actions. The type of link is Canvas, specifically this canvas, and the next canvas view. In this case, we're going to scroll to that canvas, and we're also going to have submit contact form selected. And we'll also want the shape behind to have the same exact links as well. From here, when they click submit, they're going to see view 2. We have some fun photos. We have a little thank you message. So if you are keeping the Showit form, be sure to come in here and update the view 2 with your info here. And then in the meantime, we have them going to check out more love stories on the blog. Here, these are already linked. And then the photos, we can double click and add in your photos. Now, if you currently use HoneyBook, Dubsado, or another third-party client management platform, you can also embed that contact form on your Showit website. So what we're going to do is come to the contact form canvas. I am going to duplicate it so that I know this is my original. I'm adding OG. I'm going to hide it on desktop and mobile. So now in this canvas, contact form -1, we are going to embed our contact form. We're going to come down to the middle, click embed code. This we're going to pull out of the iframe, pull the iframe out of view 1. From here, we can delete the canvas views. You will no longer need them. And then we currently use Dubsado, so I have my form opened up. I'm going to click share, copy this code, go back to Showit, and then we're going to paste that code in. From here, you're going to see your form appear. I'm going to bring this up higher. If we add it to desktop, we're going to edit it on mobile. And then when you're embedding your forms, you might have this negative space, so then we can pull that up. Whenever you're adding your form, be sure to click preview and double check so that way you know all of your form is showing. You might have to change the position, maybe even the sizing. So let's come bring this over, bring that over more, go to preview. Okay, better. We still have to edit it a little bit, but you get the idea. So you'll go back and forth making sure you have it just how you like it, and that the submit or send button is also displaying. And then just kind of preview until you get it exactly how you want. That is how you can easily add in your contact form or edit the one that's currently in the template. Lastly, I just wanted to go over the links page. So this one is available if you do want to have an Instagram links page. It is super helpful to have a page that already exists within your website for a links page. So we have this one ready for you. It's going to be the same process to customize. So swapping out the photo, adding your logo, making sure your logo is linked to the homepage, adding in any of these links. So you'll have, for example, like go to website. And then you'll go to click actions, click the page. This will go to your homepage. And now that's linked. You can also link the line below as well. And you'll just repeat the process here. If you need to add more links, you can grab these, hold down Option on your keyboard and duplicate, and you'll have more. If you add more here, you're going to have more on mobile. So I would grab these, click over to mobile, and then use the arrow key on your keyboard to pull that down. But that's an easy way that you could add in another link. You'll want to make sure all of your social platforms here are linked as well. Once you have this page customized, you can add that to your link in bio in Instagram. We also have the 404 pages. So this would be if somebody is searching something on your site and for some reason that page doesn't exist, they are going to see the 404 page. Here we can update your logo and have it linked to the home page. If you want to change this text, you can double click, start typing, edit the text here, or go to text style, edit it over here. We also have these links, so we want to make sure this is going to the home page. Same thing with the underline. If you want to change the photo, we have a black rectangle over it to allow you to read the text easier. If you don't need that, you could turn it off and just delete it. Or if you're like, okay, I want to keep it, select graphic, and then over on the right-hand side, double click the image, and you can select right there. You'll do the same process on the blog 404 page as well. So again, we want to make sure that our logo is linked. If we want to change this text, this would be if somebody is searching something on your blog page and it doesn't come up, they're going to see this blog 404. So we just want to take them right back to the blog page. We'll swap the photo by selecting graphic, coming over to image, double clicking, and select your photo. From here, Showit is auto-saving, so you don't have to click anything else to save. Up here at the top, we have preview, and then of course, publish. There are a few steps to officially launch your site because we have a WordPress homepage, but we have a video going over all of that, and it's easy. We're going to walk you through it. And then down here at the bottom, we have a Showit help docs available and a Showit chat feature. The Showit support team is so kind and so helpful. So if you do have questions, you can ask them here, or you can also email us at support@seventhmade.com and we'd be happy to help as well. Otherwise, we cannot wait to see your new website. Please be sure to let us know when you launch. I'll see you on the next one.